On this episode of Carnage, Turbo Taxi is back. Six and a half years ago, back before anyone had ever heard of COVID-19, back when electric cars really wasn't a thing, and back when Ford actually made cars here in Australia, we bought a taxi. That's right, we bought this genuine Melbourne taxi and it had 577,000 Ks on the clock. And the aim was to run 10s on LPG with our genuine Melbourne taxi. So we turbocharged it and we upped the boost and we ran into some problems, all right? So it's been a bit of a mission. We've done at least 3 engines along the way, a couple of gearboxes, we've replaced the diff. It's got a heavy duty tail shaft, it's got heavy duty drive shafts. This thing's like grandpa's axe, all right? Yes, it's a taxi. Yes, it has 600,000 plus Ks on the clock now, but it is raced at 8 different drag strips around Australia, driven to every one of them. Done probably the best part of a couple of 100 passes down the drag strip. No, we have still not run a 10. We have run 11.0 down the quarter and 131 mile an hour. But yes, it has been a bit of a struggle. But now it has a fresh engine. We actually had a bit of a problem there too. We built 2 engines, didn't we? If anyone's been keeping count, yes, we built 2 engines. One was for taxi, one was for Mazda, but we stuffed it up and had the dipsticks in the wrong location. So the motor that was intended for taxi ended up in the Mazda. That engine went 822 at 175 mile an hour. Thanks for asking. But the slightly worse of the engines, the budget engine, is gone into this. It has heavy duty rods in it, like aftermarket rods. It has turbo pistons in it. It has 12 LPG injectors. It has a Haltech ECU, a GCG, genuine Garrett turbo. I mean, it's got some good gear in this thing, there's no doubt. But now we're gonna throw it on the dyno, see if we can make 600 horsepower plus at the wheels, and later, we're gonna go and run 10s. Well, that's the plan. We hope to run 10s. So, yeah, right now it needs fuel, so we should go do that as well. Right, so before this thing goes on the dyno tonight, let's select reverse. Before it goes on the dyno, it needs a full tank of fuel, and it is almost empty. Would you believe it has been 4 years since we've raced this car? 4 years. In fact, I don't think Maddie, who's behind the camera there, has ever gone for a ride in Turbo Taxi. So yeah, we're not going to do anything because it is way out of tune at the moment. You remember this new motor is a low compression deal, so the tune is way out of whack. But it's still drivable. Actually, the car's unregistered at the moment, but we do have an unregistered vehicle permit for it, so we are legal. But yeah, someone in the office forgot to pay the rego a couple years ago, and once we noticed it was so far out of rego that it requires a full roadworthy certificate to get rego now. So that's a whole LPG tanks need stamping, the whole deal. Yeah, it's a major thing, which we don't really want to do. So I think what we're going to do is dyno this thing, make the horsepower we need, and then we will try and run the 10, that's the plan, run the 10 second quarter, and then convert it to E85, and then go run 9s. That's kind of my plan, but for today's purposes, yeah, let's get it ready for dyno. So it's all ready to go to Jason's tonight. We're going to tunnel vision tonight, run it up on Jason's dyno. He is the LPG specialist. He can tickle it up. We can make 600 plus horsepower at the tyres is kind of my aim. If we do that, then hopefully we can take it to Holden versus Ford Nats on the weekend, go and run 10s, and then we are done with the LPG because it is painful, really painful. Pretty sure last time I put LPG in this thing, it was like 50 cents a litre. Yeah, it's really unhappy on this tune at the moment. Very unhappy with the low compression and the tune that's in it at the moment. So yeah, definitely needs dynoing. Now we just sit back and wait and let the magic happen. So we've been back from our little fuel run for a couple of hours now, and of course the sun is shining, it's beautiful outside. But I've been going through the car, changing the oil, topping up the water meth tank, testing the water meth pump, make sure that's working, because you know they don't like sitting for long periods with methanol in them. So tested that, it squirts, it's all good. Changed out the wideband sensor because it was doing some funky stuff, so it has a new or newish LSU 4.9 sensor from Haltech in it. So everything is as good as we can make it. So hopefully it is ready to go on the dyno. Unfortunately, Matt can't join us tonight because he has family commitments. So I'm going to be filming the dyno session on a tripod with a GoPro. So things may not be as good as they would normally be with Matt filming. So we'll see how we go, but we're going to head over to Tunnel Vision right now and hopefully make some horsepower. So here we are at Tunnel Vision. The taxi is on the dyno. Jason's in there working his magic on the keyboard, getting this thing ready, and we're hoping to see north of 600 horsepower at the tyres out of this LPG fed beast. And it's a heavy beast too, you know, it's 1900 kilos with me in it. So we need that power to run 10s, and running 10s on LPG is pretty tough. In fact, tuning LPG is pretty tough. Jason is the expert, certainly here in Australia. Maybe you call him the worldwide expert, because he certainly holds the Australian record at 896 at 154 mile an hour. That was in a Mustang with a single cam engine, a single cam Ford 6, not a Barra, so that's pretty stout. But could even be the world record, I don't know. If there's a faster car powered by LPG, we'd love to hear about it. But yeah, it's pretty tough tuning the LPG. It is not like doing a petrol engine, and has certainly thrown us some curveballs over the years. So hopefully we'll see that power figure, we'll run those numbers, and we can be done with it, because yeah, if it was easy, everyone would do it. So we've done a couple of light passes already. We're creeping up on it. LPG presents some very unique challenges. Not all of them we can talk about. Jason likes his secrets. So yeah, we are creeping up on it, and we will see, I'm pretty confident we'll see that 600 horsepower figure. But like I said, it is a process. We're working through it, and hopefully we see that number. We are in the safety zone still, but you know, yeah, we'll get there.
It just blew off the cooler pipe. Well, the intake pipe. Fucker.
So we have done a bunch of runs, we've made some power, but we haven't hit that 600 mark. We made 576 horsepower at the tyres, which, as far as I'm aware, that is the most power this car has ever made. And it should still be capable of 10-second quarter. We reckon it needs a plug change, so we're going to change the plugs. We might change the coils as well. Make sure it is all running sweet on the street before we take it out to the track. But it's made some decent power, and I think we're kind of running out of turbo. It's hard to say, but we're going to run it with the turbo we got, see how that goes, see if we can get a 10, and if it doesn't, then I guess we need to upgrade the turbo to something bigger. And this has been a common theme with Carnage. We always run out of turbo and go on bigger turbo, bigger turbo, bigger turbo, bigger turbo. So maybe we need to do that. But anyway, whatever we do, you're going to see in a future episode of Carnage, but we're going to take this thing to the track and see if we can get that 10-second quarter.